I feel like
so season 6, episode 7. It's called Family Matters. The theme is resistance.
Well, I feel like the writing wasn't up to the same level as the previous beginning episodes. So I felt like it was just kind of a little, all over the place. Kind of didn't seem like they had a focus. They needed to just kind of rein it in a little bit and. A little too distracting. Sometimes when you add too many plot points, you lose your audience.
Right. And where was Bobby?
Where the fuck was Bobby at?
Reveal everything
really
to
good
you,
question.
Chloe. I mean, did you not watch it?
Oh, I watched it.
You don't reveal all the secrets.
It's not a beginning episode. It's episode 7.
And where's who? Bobby. Well, I mean, he's doing his thing, He's doing his thing. He's being who he is. He's a complicated thing. He's complicated, Chloe. You can't just box him in.
Do you think he's hunting?
Well, like, he's always kind of on the hunt. You know what I mean? Like, it just kind of depends on what he's hunting for this time. So, I mean, I don't really trust him, but...
Whoa, hey. You can't say that
about
too
Bobby.
far. Too far.
Look, I feel like
you can't say that about John. You can't say that about Bobby.
I feel like he's got something hidden that he's not telling us yet that is going to be revealed this season.
I hate that you're probably right.
We're not going to like it.
What do you think about Sam's whole situation this episode? Not Samuel, Sam.
I like
Fuck
it.
Samuel.
You really like it?
I think it brings some depth and nuance to the show.
I mean,
and I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. All right, well, it's been
10
good.
out of 10.
Well, thanks.
All right, bye.
We'll call you back for the episode recap.
Okay.
There we've got it. Everything we need to know about.
Here we go.
I've never seen a single episode.
Yes, they do.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I love that I got to hear your mom just like turn on podcast voice
She said,
and just BS a bunch of stuff.
yeah, so what's the vaguest thing I can say right now about the show?
What are some buzzwords?
The worst part is that it was 90% accurate.
Yeah.
It was pretty good.
Other than
Except
the
the
Bobby
Bobby
slander?
Yeah, except for the
Other than
Bobby
the Bobby
mistrust.
slander.
You can't
Unbelievable.
just no.
Mad
That
impressive.
stressed me out. She said, I don't trust Bobby. I said,
You went
I can't trust you.
we did that.
Hello, and welcome to Saving People, Queering Things, the supernatural podcast where my co-hosts claim they have souls, but I've never seen them. Today, we're pulling up to Season 6, Episode 7, Family Matters. I'm your host, Noah, he, him.
I'm August, pronouns they, them.
I'm Hannah, they/all.
And I'm Theo. Any pronouns or all?
And the question of the day I have for my co-host is, how would you rate Mom's little opener, her intro? Our mom summed up this episode and did a pretty bang up job of it, if we do say so myself, except for the Bobby slander. That was
unexcusable.
Unexcusable.
Yeah, I'm gonna say your mom's podcasting voice, her ability to turn on the podcasting voice like that was pretty impressive.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, this woman has done this before.
Tastefully done. You can tell she vague posts on Facebook.
Yeah. Honestly, her lack of takes on Dean's thoughts this episode was just devastating. She could have gone way into that, and she didn't. What's up with that?
She was a big fan of Sam's whole philosophical conundrum this episode, though, so that was good.
Yeah.
And she's coming for Sarah Gamble's throne, I guess. She doesn't like the writing this season.
Yeah.
I mean,
a bit late for that.
Okay.
Well, now that you've met everybody, you know us all, you know you love us. If you want to hear more about us, we'll have an extra bonus episode for the hour that we talked about beforehand. It's all good content. Great stuff. But now that you've met your host for today, it's time to catch you up. If you haven't watched Supernatural recently, here's what you've missed on the road so far. Now, Hannah, if you can convince August to take your place, or Theo, you could recap today's episode live, but I'll give you the floor.
God damn, it's always a goddamn timer. 30 seconds. Okay.
And this is not changed. We've been doing this for 6 seasons. This has not changed. I don't know.
You've got
why
it in
you're
your
surprised
genes.
by it.
Just start vague posting about Supernatural.
Time, you nail it. Literally every time. Just say what comes to mind. You'll be fine.
That's true.
I love the depth.
First up, Hannah is going to recap the show up to this point. Are you ready?
Sure.
You're doing great. I'm sorry.
Hannah, you can't see Hannah's face because this is an audio-only podcast, but the face was a little bit of the fuck all of you for making me do this.
There was a really deep
I'm gonna do it
eye roll.
anyway.
The internet internet going down at any point. Yeah.
It's freezing up. I can't.
Bring it on, timer man.
Alrighty. 3, 2, 1. Go.
Two brothers, Sam and Dean, are hunters of the supernatural. They have journeyed a lot, finding out that their father sucks ass, finding out that a demon is connected to their family. Last season, Sam went to hell. Dean at some point died. But they're both back, except Dean's the only one with the soul.
Ooh.
Also, there's a war breaking out. I think it's between heaven and hell. So Cass, unfortunately, is a lot more absent this season, but still around. Find out what happens in the episode.
Nice.
That was my
Nailed it.
biggest one to date. That was that.
Hey,
To be fair, we're getting more and more out of the era of Supernatural where you
Can easily explain anything.
or where you did extensive Wikipedia deep dives back in 2013. So like we're getting out of the era where that's going to be.
Yeah, seasons 1 through 5, so potent and powerful on tumblr.com. Seasons 6 through like 8 were present mostly because, hey, wow, Angel Dude. This is when gay shit started really popping off.
Yeah.
Socially acceptable way. And then past season like 8 or 9, you could not pay me to tell you what's going on.
That's really fair. And if you know why, if you've seen all of Supernatural, you know why.
You get it.
Ooh,
You know why. And if you don't, then come along and you'll find out in a few
Graphic.
seasons when we get there.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Speaking of getting there, now it's time for Theo's turn to recap this week's episode. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm ready.
30 seconds on the clock. 3, 2, 1, go.
So the start of this episode is Dean and Cass finding out that Sam has no soul. So they go to Samuel, the grandpa, to see if he has a soul. He does, and go on a hunt to catch the big alpha vampire. Samuel ends up catching it to torture it for information. Turns out he's working for Crowley. There's a lot of demons up in the mix here in Samuel's group, but Dean and Sam are still working together. So we'll see how it goes.
Whew, that was solid. You got everything you need to know. Every
think
single little
so.
bit of it. 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of plot stuff in this episode. More than I remembered.
A lot of crossing paths. Yeah.
Get some answers finally to some questions we've had at the beginning of the season.
Finally. Took them long enough.
We'll
7
get all
damn-
of Noah's thoughts about that.
Yeah.
right
minute
after
here.
these messages. Now it's time for us to pick some music
Now it's time
to
for some
accompany us.
songs. Sorry.
And now it's time for Silly Songs with Noah, the part of the show where we pick some music to accompany us on our journey. Here's what we have this week.
I need you to know, the other day, Veggie Tales came up right before Survivor Night, and the way that I gave
Sorry,
Lindsay
came up or like was playing on something?
Important distinction.
somehow came up in conversation.
Okay. That was important.
Tangentially, and I was like, wow, did anybody else watch Veggie Tales? One of my housemates had, but nobody else in the room had. And the way that I gave them the Veggie Tales lowdown, insane, and the way that they were just staring at me like, this shit's not real.
I mean,
I played the Boys in the Sink cover of Bigger Than the Boogeyman. They were like, this is
The
real. This
video
was
or
real.
just the song?
Just the song. I was
Okay,
like,
okay.
I don't want to include a visual media in this. But then I
Yeah.
tried to explain the backlash against the Bunny song. And did you know Veggie Tales does not have the OG version of the Bunny song anymore?
No, it's been scrubbed from the internet.
They
killed
not
that.
thoroughly that happened.
yeah, they were like, we do not want anyone to know that this existed.
I felt like I was uncovering the
It's still-
conspiracy.
It lives in my heart. And maybe that's
Yeah.
the problem with it, is that it got in there, you know?
Wet.
Boom, boom,
Uh,
boom, boom.
uh,
That's the only mixtape song we can pick now.
if you don't know the classic Christian children vegetable-based
Religion.
theology show, Veggie Tales, you're better off for it. And
Good luck.
Probably, definitely.
we've given you no context. Just go Google some of the Veggie Tales songs and have fun.
Specifically the silly songs, because I feel like
That's where it's glowed. That's where it really
Yeah.
shines.
Barbara Manatee and the Water Buffalo song
Oh, and the hairbrush
Right.
song.
and the hairbrush.
Belly button.
Hairbrush,
Like,
Belly button.
Belly Button was one of my faves. I mean, I feel like if you're going for the first time, the Water Buffalo.
Yeah.
that's it.
Water
It's the
Buffalo.
one. Hairbrush I feel like is too
Ooh, hairbrush,
doesn't-
yeah.
it's too long, and it just focuses on like the two and one
Oh.
character that you never see
I love
again.
my
So
lips
it's like,
is also
was
trying to
choice.
say.
okay, I love my lips.
I love my lips.
Fuck.
I love my lips the best to just like drop on somebody because they get a laugh out of it every time.
Especially if you can do the long monologue. Yeah.
Yeah.
And make a direct eye contact the whole time.
There was a time when us Browse kids would just practice that in order to have it ready, like a party trick.
And you know what? Still works.
You're walking on very thin ice towards being asked to do it live on this podcast.
God.
So I'm just warning you.
It's so true.
You just said we were prepared to pull it out as a party trick.
It's
So
a real do.
But here's some songs that we can pick to take us on our journey through this episode of Supernatural, not Veggie Tales. August, would you like to go first?
Yeah, the song I have today is I, Robot by John Bellion. Thought it was just fitting for this whole soulless Sam storyline that we've got going on. And it's a John Bellion song. We love a good John Bellion song here on the podcast.
What a good pick.
10 out of 10, honestly.
Thank you.
Couldn't have picked it better myself.
Same.
Theo, how about you?
So I picked, it's called Cut Corners on Short Walks by Bears and Trees. And it's really about like, we used to be fun, dumb kids, fragile and raw. And now like we cut corners on short walks and light fires in car parks.
Ooh.
And there's one line, hold on. I think it's the start of the second verse that says, well, out of the flames, we reclaimed our decay and the world became a stage completely chaotic how we played. And I was like, that's this episode. And that's Sam and Dean in this episode. And that's, oh my God. Yeah. So.
Damn, that's a good choice. Also, I have not heard of this song or this artist.
Bears and Trees is check it out. So good.
Very excited to check them out.
Hannah, how about you?
So I've got Free Animal by Foreign Air. Foreign Air is a sick band, highly recommend. We can attest to The Apartment, which not only has a fun music video, but it's just a bopping song in general.
God, I love that song so much.
An old housemate of mine is really close friends with one of the guys in the band, and so he'd come over and watch music videos with a bunch, and so his discography is something I really like. But I was trying to find a song that really, for me, hit. Like, I thought this episode had a lot of heart, but no soul personally. And so it was really like, how do I get that sort of like emptiness that I think is at the core of the episode, like that lack of satisfaction. And Free Animal both sort of has like the spiraling sound that I feel like resonated with the episode for me. But one of the repeating choruses is Free Animal, you're the only one that can calm me down. Flesh and bones won't lie, they won't lie. Free animal, my heart beats and patters to the broken sound. Free animal, you're the only one that can calm me down. Sort of hitting for me this like soulless Sam really got a lot going on, and Dean's ability to tamper him or like be sort of the only real tether he's got.
Amen.
Yeah. That's thematically that yeah.
I love that. Definitely gonna be listening to that one as soon as we're done here. Love their work.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, Loud Magic has been on repeat in my mind for the past 3 weeks.
Oh.
All right, Noah, what do you got for us?
This week, I went with So Thankful by Nako and Medicine for the People. It's sort of a bopping little ditty about being disappointed by your family history. And I feel like that sort of sums up how Dean is looking at his past, and it's right in front of him, disappointing him again, just like John. And I don't know, I like to think that he has a better mindset about it this time. So cheers.
I do have thoughts on that. Yeah. Amen. I'm excited to listen to that one. Is that from Nako's new album?
No, actually, it's from the first one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The new album also slaps. Everybody go listen to Trenches.
Go listen to it right now.
People, God, it's been out for months at this time, but it's great. Now that we've got our mixtape playing, it's time for this week's hunt. Today we're pulling up to season 6, episode 7, Family Matters. We're looking at it through the theme of resistance. Very apt theme for this week.
Yeah. Anyone have anywhere they want to start? Noah, like, how are you feeling with some of the...
A little vindicated about being confident that it's not Sam. I was set. It's not Sam. It's not him.
Yeah.
I didn't land on somebody else possessing him because it felt almost like him, but not genuinely him. So him being soulless fits. That tracks. I picked up those threads perfectly. But
I like that you were close. I think you were close with your predictions, but you hadn't quite landed there, which I was actually really grateful for. I think that made it kind of fun.
I even threw out that maybe Crowley was involved, and he was.
So. He was involved.
Nailed that part. That was nice. No, this was good. This was a lot of pretty top-notch acting on Jared's part, surprisingly, but he pulled it through.
Playing this like, I don't have a soul version of this character.
It feels like they didn't tell him until this episode.
Like, yeah, it feels like they didn't tell him until this episode.
And then he's like, oh, okay. So I'm soulless. Okay, I get it. Makes sense now. I don't know.
Get him.
It is easy to tell. That's what I do like about his acting. There's not not much, but about his acting is you could tell when Sam is not Sam, even though Sam is growing throughout seasons and going through all these things and learning things. Like you can still tell when Sam is not quite Sam.
Yeah. He doesn't have a warmth. Like, I think Sam as a character has a lot of like a warmth to him, or like
a compassion.
Yeah. And even when Sam is not being a particularly like nice person, when he has like a lot of anger or a lot of frustration, there's just a lot of like feeling. Like the color I associate with Sam is like red and like in all of its shades. And it does not feel like that is present right now with Sam. Like he feels very bland.
Right.
He's almost always got a bounce in his step in some way, you know?
Ooh. Yeah. And now that's not there. There's kind of a bit of a lead foot kind of concrete sort of.
Yeah.
I love that they, not to jump to the end, but I love that they show that full circle, you know, they show him trusting Samuel completely because he's blood. But then once Dean kind of snaps him out of that and wakes him up to he's got to start thinking about his situation differently, then he starts, okay, well, let me look at the facts. And the facts of it are that Samuel betrayed us and we can't trust him. So I'm going to kill him. And Dean being the one to walk him back from was like, okay, you need to chill. You need to
like
just
Dean being like, okay,
stop going 0 to 60.
There has to be something in between. We don't trust him and
we're going to kill him right here.
and murder. Like there's got to be a range here. We got to get there. And Dean doesn't like Samuel. That's very, very clear.
Very clear.
And
which
more
Sam
clear
kind of throws back in his face. Like, really? You're the one that's saying not to trust family? Like, what's this resistance to trust new family?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's also some weird, going back on, there's a weird moment where Dean says, you can't assume that family means the same thing to him, he's talking about Samuel, that it does to us. He's not dad. Which, I'm sorry. What did family mean to John Winchester?
Right. In what way is he not dad? Because I'm pretty sure if he's not dad, that's a better guy.
Typically a positive. Typical.
Yeah, and also do you want Samuel to have, because Samuel actually seems remarkably like John in the way that he is addressing family, keeping secret, barking orders, expecting allegiance without information, hallmarks of John Winchester's parenting. So I don't know what's happening with Dean. That feels like a little bit of a writing misfire, because we've seen Dean kind of move past this allegiance to John's memory.
Yeah, it felt almost like he was throwing that out for Sam, you know, he doesn't believe that it applies for him anymore, but he knows that Sam's perception of dad or of John was different, having run away to college and all that. And so
interesting.
I think that's a really good point, because Dean saving Samuel at the end really did not hit for me. I was like, that I would expect Dean I thought, and I think this is the point of the cinematography, when you see the cocked gun and then you see that it's Sam, it's a jarring moment, because you're like, holy shit, I would expect that to be Dean. I wouldn't expect Sam to be doing this.
Yeah.
So then
whole episode we've been leading toward its Dean.
Then Dean being the one to put it down, right? Taking Sam's role for him while he's not there to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He sees that Sam doesn't have the heart to be the person that pulls Dean back. So he has to teach Sam to be pulled back. Beautiful.
Yeah. Which is a good, cool role reversal, and also makes sense with their character arcs at this point in the story.
Tracks so well.
It makes sense that Sam is more betrayed. Dean doesn't feel betrayed by Samuel. He doesn't like Samuel, but he has no, Samuel hasn't done anything wrong. Since the moment that he met Samuel at the beginning of the season, there's been a mistrust and there's been a lot of jabs, and Samuel doesn't have a lot of respect for Dean and all these things. Whereas Sam has been aligned with Samuel. And so Sam being betrayed, which is very interesting that he is acting out of this sort of this turn and this trail without a soul. It's very interesting.
Yeah. The resistance of Sam soulless and still being on the hunt, on the job, fully in it, but the resistance to Dean every time that Dean is what are you doing? Are you thinking about this? Are you thinking about this? And Sam's shut up. Of course I'm thinking about it. And he's no, but actually the resistance between Sam trying so hard to be I'm my own person, even though I don't have a soul, I'm still a good person, and Dean being I'm trying so hard not to pummel you right now, but
well, and he did last episode.
He did.
Because it starts with the aftermath of Dean being I am so done, and now I have confirmation that this is not Sam.
Not just in my head.
It's once that he realizes that it's not Sam Sam's fault that he's different. You know, he's still trying to be good. He just can't tell what that is, you know? So he needs a guiding light.
It's a different kind of mistrust than the mistrust he's had the rest of the season, where it's been like, I don't trust you because I don't think you're Sam. And I think you might have nefarious like intentions. Whereas now it's like, oh, I think your intentions are fine. You just like don't have a more like, it's almost like he's like there's no
moral compass to like guide him. Yeah.
And no less impulse control.
Yeah. And no like, instinct either. No gut feelings. So he can't follow that.
Isn't that something that was thrown in his face?
Yeah.
Dean calls him out on that specifically.
Yeah.
Like,
and Dean relies on his gut feeling a lot in hunting. Like we've seen that. And we've seen Dean's gut feeling. Like it's really interesting of the narrative where like Dean's gut feeling is usually right. And like you start paying attention to it throughout the show. And it's kind of a narrative choice of like usually Dean's gut feeling is right. And sometimes nobody listens to him. And like it's not always like justified gut feeling. Like sometimes it's just like he has a gut feeling and there's no like good reason for it, but he's proven to be right later on. And so it's interesting, he throws that at Sam and goes like, you don't have this instinct. You don't have the ability to just like sense what's happening in the situation.
Which is interesting.
An interesting thread in terms of family for that to be what is also sticking out to him now that he knows Sam doesn't have a soul. What he's going to throw in his face is you don't have a hunt instinct anymore. Your gut isn't working.
Especially since when Sam came back, like one of the first things said to Dean was like, I'm a better hunter now. Like he's prided himself on his hunting ability in this past year.
Bobby even throws that in Dean's face in the last episode. He says, Sam's even a better hunter than you right now. Like not always, but like at least right now.
Right.
He's doing better.
No emotion holding him back. He's just a monster. He's a machine. Get it?
Yeah, which like, I mean, the idea of like a better hunter being one with less of a moral compass and less of a soul is concerning.
Yeah.
Concerning.
It all depends on the context you're looking at it in, you know? If you're looking at number of lives saved, I guess. Yeah.
Which I would trust Bobby to tell if that was a good upgrade or not, but also like Bobby being like, yeah, something's up. But I mean, he's still a damn good worker, but like,
I don't trust
at what cost?
But like, at what cost? Because again, like he needs Dean is the one that pulls him back from like making some pretty bad calls in this episode. But is Sam like Sam's like a very effective hunter without a soul, but he lacks like even any internal sense of like resistance. Like when thinking about the theme of resistance, like Sam lacks any like they find out that Samuel's betrayed them and he's immediately like, okay, that means we should kill him. And there's no like sense of internal like conflict. He's just like, okay.
Right. Okay, not on that path, switch.
Last season, Sam would have been like, okay, how can we use this? How can we talk to him and get him to come see our side and like appeal to his emotions? Nope, not anymore.
Oh, no.
Kind of dig it. It's interesting.
Yeah.
But I think it's really interesting because I was noticing a lot. I haven't watched the beginning of season 6 in ages, but watching this episode specifically, like Sam can tell pretty often when people are lying. Like he's just really good. That his instinct for when people are lying to him is incredibly spot on. And the way that in the past, I feel like he's used that to like just take a note of it and then come back around to it later. But this episode, he's very much like, Samuel, like you found out where the alpha is hidden out, isn't it? Like you want to know where purgatory is, don't you? Like seeing that shift in somebody's face and being like, oh, they have this information, I'm going to ask them about it because that's what you do. And like Dean every time being like, okay, yeah, okay. Yeah. So interesting.
It's so good.
Yeah.
I do love it.
That is a really good observation of Sam in general. Like soulless or not, he's
always has a good insight role. Always.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Something that I've been talking about, some mad shit about Samuel recently, is that he's got all this family, all of these connections, all of these hunter connections across the country, at least, and they don't share, life-saving vampire cure tips to any other hunters outside of that. But in this episode, it's revealed that a lot of those family members were possessed by demons ages ago. So it would make sense that they're not trying to share all their secrets about vampires. Okay.
Yeah.
I get it.
It's now, because now we can go back and look at the rest of the season so far and go, oh, all of these hunters being giant dicks. is also maybe a little bit demonic possession influenced.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Like,
Other than Samuel doesn't get a pass. Samuel gets no passes.
he's just a
I don't want to give Christian any passes either because
No, I don't either.
shit. I literally
No
marked in my
passes.
notes that he's gonna die as soon as possible, and they're making him even worse in this episode. Please and please, but no, it's just a demon form, so maybe he'll die later on. But
There's a lot more of like, and I'd forgotten about the demonic possession piece. I like this whole season I'd forgotten. Like I remembered the Crowley piece, but I had not remembered the like specifics of like that these hunters, some of these were possessed. So just like really, I have a lot of notes here in my list of like just really disliking these hunters. There's more of them like underestimating Dean as a hunter. There's more jabs at Lisa and his life with Lisa.
oh my god, yeah,
there's also just full on threat. There's also just like a full on like, well, accidents happen. Like they pair him with Gwen. They pair him with the female character. And they push
the only
margins with her.
I thought that was also interesting. Like obviously the possessed like hunters are gonna go and get the alpha vampire and like take it away. But also like Gwen being the only one besides Samuel to not be possessed and to like be so like snarky towards Dean the whole time, and then at the end be like, oh no, wait, Samuel, like I thought that was really interesting.
The person she can trust in that moment is Dean in the most, like the person who's betrayed her the least at that point is Dean.
Yeah, because Dean hasn't been hiding anything, and he doesn't have anything to hide in this situation,
except for that time when he just disappeared from his post and then came back, and she was like, well, you know what? I'll cover for you. I guess. Heart sees
like,
heart.
How would Samuel not realize, if he's such a great hunter, how has he not realized any of his folks are possessed? Like, do they not handle holy water? Do they not touch? Like,
where are the devil's traps in their houses?
Traps?
Why would you not have devil's traps in your house? You are a hunting family,
at least by the door.
And if they're like,
or
if they're like, we don't need those. Like, why wouldn't you be suspicious of that?
Or they like mark, because we often see like demons or like characters like drawing. So I'm like, we're not checking the traps. We're not very.
What if he's just like, okay, so y'all do that, set up the house, and they're like, yeah, we got it. We did it in invisible ink.
Glow in the dark paint. Glow in the dark paint. Stop.
Do you think you bought it?
Samuel's like, what is that? They've invented that? Okay, damn.
Yeah, they do say he thinks Velcro is new technology. So it would make sense if they're like, this is a high-tech stuff. They probably had a blast pulling that.
They're like, Samuel, we put a technological one. Like, don't worry about it. You can't see it.
It's an automatic devil's trap. You just press this button right here, and it's a microwave, but he thinks it's a devil's trap.
Crowley's just like invisible watching, just like pissing himself laughing at like how easy it is to. Okay, but interesting enough, like Samuel and Sam both got brought back from the dead, but Samuel does have a soul and Sam doesn't.
I think, that's obviously on purpose because Crowley knows that he needs leverage on the boys because that's a great piece of leverage, like a core piece of your being. Yeah, it's fair.
Well, and says it's like they say at the top of the episode that it's like probably still
in the cage
with Lucifer and Michael.
And if the soul is being tied to Sam's instinct, like they're handicapping Sam in one way that's gonna make him a better person and more of a Winchester, but also amplifying everything about him that makes him useful.
Which sounds very familiar to like season 2. Like Sam's already been through an arc like this of like, let's feed him demon blood and give him psychic powers.
See what happens.
And it'll like his humanity sort of gets muddled.
They didn't have to call Dean the reject, but they did, and that was a little unnecessary.
Gwen did. Specifically, Gwen. That's so funny.
Yeah. Dean was on fire with his references today. He was throwing out psychic bat signal while talking with a vampire. Yeah, okay, great call.
We'll have a good Batman reference.
If the old man's Kermit, his hand is up his ass. Good. Putting Jaws in a fishbowl. Beautiful.
Yeah.
He called, I think, a vampire at one point, he called Fright Night. I don't know if that's a reference to something specific, but I was like, that's such a choice of words.
Maybe Fright Night?
Yeah.
I dated Claire for 3 years. Fright Night. Did you know?
Where was that jump? I love the ADHD
dots
brain,
anymore.
but these dots are not connected.
Hang on, I gotta Google something. I gotta make sure this is right.
I'm also doing a bit of a background
Like
check.
I assume it's like a high school or like public school. Like
no, I'm so right for this.
Yeah. Oh no, you are absolutely right.
I've got a track doing a group chat with.
Yes. Okay. No, you're right because that was what I also thought.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
He also references John Wayne.
There's Also, a RoboCop reference. He calls
RoboCop.
Sam Robo Sam,
Mhm.
Yes.
which is
Okay.
very funny.
Okay, hit reality. I keep saying hit reality TV show because I'm just used to introducing people to Survivor.
Yes.
But top actor Colin Farrell
Icon.
was in a 2011 remake of the like horror movie Fright Night. And the reason I know about this is because I dated somebody for 3 years. No, I'm lying to you. Oh my God, Claire, I hope you don't listen to this. I dated somebody for 2 years whose ex that they were living with and also one of their best friends was obsessed with this movie. I'm not joking when I say that I've seen it upwards of 3 times, and I was not.
Have you seen the
in
80s version or the 2011 version?
The 2011 version.
Okay.
Because every 30 seconds we had to hear about how bad they wanted to fuck Colin Farrell in this movie. Endless amounts. Like I cannot count how many times I've seen this movie or heard about it. I just trashed Theo in a group chat where they're gonna get dunked on. Cannot describe how that's gonna go. The way Fright Night lives in my brain. That's it. That's the only reference I have to add to this. Is Fright Night cult classic? Is a oh my God, I want to say a vampire. It's the one where
it's
David
a vampire.
looks like
it's a
the
vampire.
sexy trash. He's like a trash rock star
Colin
with like the big
Farrell's
smiley
being a
eye.
high school senior. There's no way.
It's a kid discovering
Colin
that
Farrell-
their neighbor's a
yeah,
vampire.
he's the
Anton
neighbor.
Yelchin
Okay, gotcha,
plays
gotcha.
the high school senior.
Oh,
Anton Yelchin, Colin
R.I.P.
Farrell, David Tennant are all in this movie.
It's
I
like
don't know about
Ooh.
the old one. I'm sure it's fine.
the old one.
It also takes place in Albuquerque.
No.
I don't remember. I don't
Are
think
you
it actually
serious?
does in the movie. It might in the movie actually, but it is all filmed in Albuquerque, like out Rio Rancho.
He was
Cannot
sitting on the block
describe.
in this
I
picture.
have never seen
can't-
this movie. I do know of it, but I've never actually seen it. But
Tom
this is selling it, honestly. That cast list is selling it for me.
It is
Yeah, same.
okay.
I believe that. That's
I've
what I would
watched some
expect from
okay
it is
movies with
okay.
Claire. The panic I felt as I opened Google and searched up Fright Night and the 1985 version, and I scroll down and it says director and screenplay Tom Holland.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Wrong. Different Tom.
what? No, it's a different guy.
1985 Tom Holland, that one you're thinking of, Spider-Man Tom Holland. How old was he in 1985?
Not
Probably,
one.
like, not.
Infant.
You didn't
Let's
say
find it.
Dave Franco was in
Tom
it too.
Holland was not alive in 1985 because Tom
Yeah.
Holland is younger than I am.
So that was a scary moment. I was like, I don't think I trust a movie written and directed by Tom Holland, but sure, okay. I'm back. Okay, so Fright Night was a reference.
There's also a reference to Seinfeld.
Oof.
There is the iconic quote from Cass where he says, "My true form is approximately the size of your Chrysler building."
Icon.
So good.
Like shows up in
Okay.
every fan vid.
Right, because there's not a more powerful why. Like, that's so sick.
I did also very much love the line, recap it for our wingman. It was very good.
That was so good.
Also the line, "One more time, like I'm 5."
Yeah, one more time, like I'm 5.
That felt like so a psych quote.
Yeah.
Also a Legoland reference, like the
Yes.
vampires going,
Where do
"When we
vampires
freak
go when
out,
they
where do we
die?
go? Not heaven, not hell." And Dean goes, "Legoland."
Lego.
She's
Like,
an icon.
Dean's keeping up with his pop culture references, honestly.
Yeah, and I like that the vampires pop culture references were Dante's Inferno.
It was so good.
Yeah, we get the Legoland and the Dante's Inferno reference like back to back.
Yeah.
Charlie's Angels.
And it's a pretty intimidating line to be like, when your kind first huddled around fire, I was the monster in the dark. Like, okay, yeah. That's
Yeah.
Ooh, let's can we lead that right into our lore check right
Lore.
now?
Yes. Oh my
So
gosh.
get this.
So get this. Yeah, big lore. Big
Big
lore today.
lore. Big mega lore. We got fucking purgatory confirmed.
Purgatory, bitch.
Did you? Is this something you knew?
No, I mean, I knew that they were going to get to there. Yeah. No, I mean, how are
like
they
you
going to?
can't have the heaven and
Yeah.
hell fight, not purgatory.
You can't not talk about purgatory when you have 15 seasons of
We
television.
had
to
a
fill.
conversation. I feel like we had a conversation. I don't remember what episode it was. It was a recent episode where we talked about like, where do monsters go
Yeah.
when they die? And I was like, being like,
Mhm.
we're gonna know.
Sat
You're
on
gonna
that
know.
so well.
I guess we'll
but I'm not gonna
see.
say anything because you're gonna know in like 3
It
episodes.
was the episodes where they're going up to heaven and they're hopping realities and hopping over. And I was like, why can't Ash find any of these monster people? Like, he could totally have found them. Yeah, that's because they're not there.
The excitement in my body knowing what's coming with that.
Good.
Yeah,
also want everyone to know I tagged in this group chat the person who is most obsessed. I tagged my most obsessed people in this group chat, and they have given no description, no nothing, but dropped in a row 3 on demand Colin Farrell thirst traps from
Like
Hit
within seconds.
Within seconds.
Maybe
3 thirst traps.
We
Look at him.
will drop
Hey,
these.
you don't have to get me sold on Colin Farrell. I'm there.
We'll if we remember when this episode comes out, we'll drop some Colin Farrell on the Twitter.
Scroll down.
If Twitter
a little
exists, who knows? We'll find out.
Colin Farrell thirst traps are never far away. That's the point. Just ask.
Yeah, we'll make that happen for you.
Crowley is kind of looking at purgatory and saying, that's some free real estate right there.
Crowley, who is now not just a Crossroads demon.
I think we had confirmed that he was King of Hell a few episodes ago. But
now we've
seen the impact of his control over a huge sense. He had so many demons infiltrating Samuel for how long? Forever.
Yeah, ages has got to be some amount of time in demon headset.
He can claim King of Hell all that he wants, but we all know the real rulers of hell are Glenn Close and Jodie Foster. So
we've been new.
It's okay. He can try, but he's not King of the Hell.
Right.
But you just dropping spoilers in front of Baby Ears August?
You know what?
Baby Ears Bad Key's right here.
August, if you ever get there, you'll forget about it by then.
It's okay. I'm not going to remember. My brain's a sieve. It will go right through.
Sorry.
It's nothing sticking. It's not sticking. Not at this point on a Tuesday.
Yeah, mood. Was this the first time that we've heard of or seen Alpha Vampire? Because I know last episode and previous, they've been hunting towards the Alpha Vampire.
When Dean went undercover, quote unquote, got turned as a vampire, he interacted with the leader vampire, who was a direct descendant of the Alpha, supposedly, and had a premonition of
the because we saw that in this episode.
Yeah, with the twins and the weather vane and all that. So this was just kind of harping on that.
Okay, so was this the first time that a vampire is we all had a mother, that bit of lore,
that he was born as a vampire and not turn,
right?
Yeah.
This is the first of those for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I had so many questions. Yeah.
What came first, the chicken or the egg, the vampire or the bite?
The vampire. The vampire
confirmed.
Apparently the answer to that.
Does that mean this fucked up kid was born and was like, I really need a chomp?
I mean, kids all the time
we
train them out of vampirism.
Can't tell you how many times.
That's just every child. I need to bite.
And some adults too. They like to bite.
Well, that's anyway. That's
people can do what they want in their own
not
privacy.
A BDSM podcast.
The eyebrows that were all raised at the camera just there. It was
18 plus version of our podcast. We're earning that rating today.
Absolutely. I really liked Dean's indignation. We can't work for Crowley. Sir, where are you getting your W-2s from? You do not have a job. This is better than nothing. It's getting you your brother's soul back. What?
What else? I get it. You don't want to work with Crowley.
At least he's given you benefits out of every deal you've gotten. Bobby can walk again. Bobby's
Take
alive
the shitty
again.
Job.
Yeah.
That's true. This is the closest. This is potentially someone with. This is someone with maybe the best shot at if Sam's soul is in the cage and maybe getting it. Yeah. Seems like the King of Hell might be helpful, but also makes sense that they're a little shy of trusting Crowley.
They're a little, you could say, resistant.
That was pretty good. I'm going to give it to you.
Yeah. Fun kind of behind the scenes thing. Mark Shepard, Crowley, requested that he wasn't listed in the opening credits so that they could keep the reveal part, because the reveal's so late in the episode. So that was actually something that the director revealed in an interview.
That's pretty cool.
Kind of fun.
Shows that he's humble as hell. He loves the story. I love that.
I mean, Mark Shepard.
Icon. I'll never not celebrate him.
Yeah.
I was confused this episode because from what I remember of supernatural lore, electricity wouldn't hurt vampires, right?
Yeah, you are correct.
Why would Samuel, why was that why?
The thing is, we wouldn't I don't think it would cause damage, but there's nothing to say that it wouldn't cause physical pain. Just it wouldn't it wouldn't have any like lasting damage, the electricity, because that's not how you kill a vampire.
Yeah.
That's my thought. I don't know if anyone else
it just threw me off, kept being like, oh yeah, I'm throwing the switch. And I was like, are you sure that's doing anything?
He's not flinching.
Again, it's not really, doesn't appear to really be doing a whole lot. But also he's working for Crowley, like Samuel's working for Crowley, like
maybe he
I don't
knows
know why
things
he's being put in charge of the torture.
Yeah.
And interrogation, like when Crowley,
you have the king of hell right there.
Seems like might be better at getting information out of like an alpha vampire.
Yeah.
That is weird. Didn't think about that, huh?
Yeah.
When Dean says like, why don't you recap it for our wingman? And Samuel looks over and Cass is there. And Samuel goes, oh, are you Castiel?
Yeah.
You're scrawnier than I imagined or than I pictured. And I was like, who's been talking? Who's been spilling sweet nothings about Cass?
Who's been describing this? Not the first time, nor will it be the last time that someone looks at Cass, meets Cass, and is like, thought you'd be different adjective to the way you were described.
And it's always a sexier adjective.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Speaking of Castiel, I just got a text from Misha Collins, so I'm pretty cool.
What?
Okay,
yeah, no big deal. But anyway, another thing I noticed about that scene with Cass and Samuel L. Jackson, damn. No, with Samuel and Cass, when Cass leaves and he says, would have asked him to stick around for a beer. Why? Because you're trying to protect your prospective grandson, trying to bond with him a little bit, make sure he's right for your Dean. I think that's what he's picking up there.
I thought that was a weirdly like
that's a pointed like, oh well, he seemed cool. I would have asked him to stick for a beer if he didn't have to leave. Sorry, like that's the vibe.
Are you sure he can't stay for dinner?
Yeah.
It was really cute.
And especially the cut from when he says you're scrawnier than I pictured, and it cuts to Dean like,
like,
huh?
Don't fucking tell him that. What part of my description said scrawny? I said rippling muscles. What are you talking? No.
Also, Dean says, Dean's talking and he's like, okay, we gotta figure out, now we know Sam's soul is gone, we gotta figure out how to get it back. And then Cass deadpans, yes, of course, Dean, your problems always come first. Which, to be fair, last season, that was kind of true. Cass was like, yeah, I will drop all of Heaven's plans for this man. So Dean's like, I kind of assumed that was our deal.
With our track record that you've established, this is not out of left field. I don't know what you're talking about.
Cass is just absolutely no, and then
and then it's gone. He's just gone.
It's just gone. He's gone the whole rest of the episode. He's like, no, I got things in heaven too.
Can't wait till we get to know more about that.
Yeah. We'll get to that. We will get to that.
I'm a sucker for any time in media when they do yes, Samuel, I trust you because I'm the one that trusts you, okay? And I know you don't trust me, but it's fine because I trust you. And then jump cut, I don't trust that motherfucker. He could die in hell. Beautiful. It was very good.
Yeah, I do like the back and forth this episode between Sam and Dean is obviously a main source of everything in this episode. But I have just a few of back and forths written down because it was so hard hitting, because near the beginning when Sam's like, it's still me, and Dean's like, is it? Mm-hmm. And there's yes. And then later
Sam's so blank faced, I don't know what you mean, Dean.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
I'm just gonna murder our grandpa.
Yeah. And then later when Dean's like you don't have that instinct anymore, and Sam goes, oh, and Dean goes, oh. Oh my god, you guys.
Big sibling energy right there.
When Sam's talking to the alpha vampire and he's like, you're the one in the cage, sir. We just established your soul is probably in the cage. Please do not.
Sam
doesn't get to talk about anyone being in a cage.
No, he does
until
not.
His soul is out of the cage.
Ooh, also Sam keeping Samuel's secret from Dean and then saying that was my choice because I knew you'd mess this up for us. And Dean's like, no, I won't. He's like, yeah, you'd kill him first and we need to ask questions. And he's like, oh yeah.
He's
and then Sam being the one to point the gun at Samuel.
Yeah,
which is the full circle piece.
Yep.
Yeah, Sam, and this is a theme with Sam. Sam likes to think, I think sometimes that he has the moral high ground over Dean. He likes to think that he thinks things through and doesn't act impulsively, because Dean puts on this big front of acting impulsively, and Dean does act impulsively. But Sam also acts impulsively, and without a soul, he does that even more.
Yeah.
And with less emotion to guide him, so it's rough.
Yeah.
Dean at least has his gut.
There is a kind of chilling moment that I thought was kind of important character-wise for Sam. When, at the beginning, once they find out his soul is gone, and they're going like, Dean's like, we're not letting you leave this room.
Oh.
And Sam is like,
I didn't want it to come to this,
God.
and then says, you are not going to hold me, Dean. Not here, not in a panic room, not anywhere. Which is a, season 4 callback.
2
I thought that was
callback.
big, like, Sam being like, no, I
Right,
don't care what's wrong with me. You're not locking me up.
Yeah, you've tried this before. We've tried it. That didn't work out. This is no different. And Dean's like, you don't have a soul. And he's like, it's no different.
Which honestly, you know what? I like that moment for Sam because
It shows that he's really trying to respect Dean in this moment. Like as much as crazy stuff is going on, he's like, hey, I do care about you and I don't want you to feel like I'm just standing up. But here I am. I got to do it anyway. Sorry.
But also I'm not going to like let you lock me up
Yeah.
inhumanely again. Because like this whole situation in the panic room, like, yes, Dean and Bobby didn't think they had another option. Was it a good option? Also, no.
Very much so.
So like I can see Sam, like it's interesting because Sam doesn't have a soul, but he's like, that's a very emotional sort of statement
Right.
to like call back to that moment in season 4 with the demon blood detox.
Specifically, like, hey, you remember this? Do you remember when you did that? This isn't that.
And he directs it at Dean. Like, Dean and Cass are both there, but he directs it at Dean, even though, like, Cass is the one, realistically, with way
Cass
more,
could
like,
probably
actual
hold
power.
it somewhere. But
Right.
that's not what he's going for in this moment.
Yeah.
Which is good. Sam endured a lot of harsh words this episode, and I'm a little glad that he didn't have the soul to feel it as much.
That's
Which,
fair.
I mean, it begs a lot of questions about, like, what can he feel? Like, what's the role of emotions when you don't have a soul?
I feel like it's
kind of
less
said
on the emotions and it's more on like logical deductions from something like, oh, if you're saying that to me, it must mean you don't like me or, you don't trust me in the same way. So he's like, well, I'm saddened by that, I guess, but I don't know.
It's like it's all reaction and not like emotion.
Right. It can't sink very deep.
Yeah.
Also, he doesn't sleep.
Yeah. He hasn't slept for the past year and a half ish. Like that's
fucked up. And being like, yeah, I just didn't mention it to you.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's happened.
Behavior.
Today
Sam.
we could have been,
Like I would say like I would have Dean's reaction there, being like, and you didn't think that was an important like piece of information.
It's one
not
thing
sleeping?
if you go a week and it's like, wow, I haven't slept all week. That's a little
kind of
concerning.
odd.
You go a month and you haven't said anything. Oh my god.
I'm like, I'm sorry, but if you go without sleep for that long, you die. So
if you're human.
I'm just picturing like, what did he do with that time?
That's what I'm picturing Dean thinking, like, of all the times in the past year he stopped at a motel to spend the night before driving the next morning and being like, Sam could have fucking driven that whole night.
Well, it's not been that long that they've been together, but yeah, like in all that time, like Sam's been faking. Like, what's Sam been doing when they've been at a motel?
Laying down, keeping his eyes
laying
closed.
in bed, staring at the ceiling, laying in bed with his eyes closed, just thinking.
On rest mode?
On rest mode. Fucked up.
Dean hopping up, trying to be quiet and respectful. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay. Let me help out here.
And splitting the driving because that's what they do. And Sam is calculated and is not. This is not like he just didn't think to tell Dean.
Right.
He like chose not to tell Dean because he knew Dean would be like, that's something's up.
Like
something's up.
If Dean woke up every morning and Sam was like researching stuff, that'd be suspicious as hell. But he could just be sitting there all night, like trying to figure out more ways to hunt stuff. I don't know.
Or that's when he's meeting with Samuel. Like that's when he's
right.
And then every time Dean wants to go see Samuel during the day, Samuel's tired. He's taking a nap. Actually, I don't know why his sleep schedule is really fucked up.
So weird.
It's some new hunt
Maybe he's a vampire.
Oh shit! Wait, it went too far. It went too full circle. I went too deep in the lie. Let me back it up a little bit.
I mean, maybe he's working for. I mean, never mind.
Never mind.
So I haven't been sleeping.
I really liked when after the vampire raid and that all goes badly. Actually, first I want to bring up the CGI blood that was in that cutting off the vampire head scene made me lose my mind laughing. That looked
painful.
Like static red goo was just splattered onto the screen. It was so funny.
A little rough.
Oh my god, it was so funny. The whole like roll. Oh my god.
I couldn't take my eyes off the blood. They wanted me to look at the body, but I was just.
I did not look at the body. I was just like gobsmacked at the blood. It's so funny. But after the raid and Dean and Sam are driving back, and Dean pulls over to be like, what the hell? And he's like shouting at Sam, but then like talking with Sam, and Sam's giving it back, and they're trying to figure out what's going on. And Dean says the something of like us sticking together, like nobody's making you stick with me, but like we have to do this, and like da-da-da. And then it cuts to Sam showing up at Samuel's alone and being like, yeah, we parted ways because we couldn't split the difference. Like that was such a good choice of showing how Sam can still play on this instinct and play people and still have a goal to work towards, but like in this way of a soulless, like, okay, I'm gonna go to Grandpa now and be like, all right, put me in, boss, like I'm ready to torture, I'm ready to get crazy with it. And then Samuel was like, no, actually I want you to stay where you are. And Sam's like, oh my god, I did not think he would say that. And then like leaving and cut. I also really liked when he got back. It was like, I went to plan B, and Dean's like, we had a plan B? Nobody told me? What?
Sam's like, I am 5 steps ahead. I am masterminding this situation.
He's on top of it.
Yeah, that was a really good turn of like Dean being like, if we can't work together, then this isn't going to work out. And Sam supposedly leaving him to go work with Samuel, and Samuel saying like, we can't work on this same level, like not right now. And Sam being like, oh, okay. And then actually still being with Dean and like working that out. I thought that was a really good kind of like circular, like roundabout. You left where you came from, and then you go right back there.
I think it shows the difference between Samuel and Dean really strongly, because Dean, even when he didn't trust Sam and he couldn't handle not knowing the truth about what Sam was doing, he still cared about him and wanted to know the truth and was trying to fight for it. Samuel is just pushing him away and saying, I can't handle that. You just do your thing and I'll be over here. And so Sam had already made the choice to side with Dean, but it really reinforces that decision, because he's like, oh, okay, I see. Dean's over here giving me chance after chance. Samuel was like, one and done. I can't deal with that. I like that.
Yeah, I like it. I do want to say just that the final 2 shots of Sam and Dean, where Sam asked, are you with me, Dean? And it cuts to Dean just looking so lost and so like, of course I am, but oh my God, what am I gonna have to do? And the lighting is like so drastic, and it just looks so powerful. Like the rest of the episode, I was like, okay, cinematography, lighting, that's fine. But that last like minute was just like, ooh, get it.
They're like making an effect for to make a point.
Yes.
Like Dean is like, yeah, Sam's with me.
Yeah.
And is that a good thing? Question mark.
The freaking film student of like the light and the dark on both sides, the contrast on his face, the fighting inside. Yeah. Gets me every time.
I would like to say that this has been on my calendar for a minute. I still forgot that to watch the episode beforehand. So I finished therapy at 7, and I was like, or like 6:50. I finished therapy like 40 to 30 minutes before this episode, and I was like, okay, I have to watch Supernatural, but I do not have time to watch Supernatural. So I watched it on 1.5 times speed.
Icon.
And still good. 2, I do not think I've had a more amusing Supernatural experience. This episode on 1.5 times speed. I was like, the pace of this is really, right. I did that.
Why are these action scenes so sick?
I'm enhancing them. Supernatural could actually be 25 minutes
and be better.
This crisp. Let me tell you. And I was like, this band, like, oh my God, the dialogue is so tight.
So witty.
And retroactively thinking about that slower, I was like, didn't need it.
Yeah, that's valid, actually.
Fair.
I gotta try that next time.
Hot tip, Supernatural improves when you watch it on 1.5 speed.
It improves 1.5 times.
Seems like a pretty significant improvement, actually.
That's not bad.
1.5 to 0. Multiply the 0% enjoyability of Supernatural.
No.
No.
I wouldn't suggest if it was 0.
Yeah, I would be. Yeah. We're not hate watching.
No.
Much as some moments we are hate watching. We're not. Hate watching,
I feel like it's pretty clear which episodes we end up hate watching, and it's like this episode fucking sucked.
And you can only tell after you watch the episode for Noah specifically.
Yeah.
Yes, it's true. That's true. First time watchers.
Swear to God, if the next episode is disappointing, it's titled "All Dogs Go to Heaven." It can't that bad.
Even you.
I'm not gonna say anything.
I mean, okay. Well, no, wait. We'll get to the predictions part later because I do have a thought about that.
Okay, I do want to hear your predictions about that.
now it's time for us to hit our final and favorite section of the episode, character blessings. Who would you guys like to bless this week? Hannah, did you want to go first?
The first, I've just been thinking about purgatory for like 15 minutes.
Oh, okay.
So,
any thoughts you want to share with the class?
None that are applicable for this episode. So I'm
That is fair. That is fair.
Bless Gwen.
Yeah.
I wish her well. Shit situation, but I think it's funny that she was like one of the only people not demonized or dead. So I really pulse through this one, my guy.
Yeah, women's right.
More importantly, they're wrong.
Women's wrongs. Let Gwen go and be
fucked up in fun new ways.
Exactly. Sound far away from Samuel Campbell.
Please.
Yeah.
Theo, how about you?
So I don't have a specific character. I just have a moment because it was a very family moment, but very specifically a Hunter family moment when after Sam and Dean have broken in to talk to the alpha vampire and Samuel finds them and they walk out and leave that one guy as the guard and they have like guns pulled on each other and Dean's like caught in this position of trying to load his gun with a gun on him by Gwen, and so he like stands up, they drop all their weapons, and then there's gunshot and screaming and Samuel immediately is like, oh, forget about it, grab your weapons, and they all like forget it immediately, and Sam and Dean scramble to like pick up their shit off the ground and run to go help. It's so good.
I do love that moment so much because it plays really well. Like they're all okay, well, you got us, and then the guy dies, and then it cuts back to them and they're not saying anything. They're all just like, and we've been standing here since then, so
and here we go.
It is like that. It's like that moment when you're like, if you're like fighting with siblings and then suddenly your parents are there and you're like, oh shit, actually now we're on the same side again.
Actually, we have a common goal. Put this back.
Common goal. Survive.
Literally. That was just like that. I had to skip back and rewatch it because I was laughing so hard. It's so like Dean scrambled to pick up his machete and his gun and his salt, and
I'm very curious about how much of that it was like intentionally choreographed and how much of that is just like, Jensen, you need to pick up all this shit. We don't really care how you do it.
Just pick it up and go.
And it looks funny. Yeah, it's great.
August, how about you?
I'm gonna bless Dean today because, again, the narrative has put him in a position where he doesn't have any support, again, and he's responsible for the whole situation, and he doesn't really have anyone he can trust, and even Sam, who he's supposed to be able to trust, like, can't really trust, as evidenced by that last scene. So, a blessing for him. This has not been his season so far.
Damn, it really hasn't.
Hopefully it gets better. Hopefully, Cass stops fucking off to wherever he's fucking off to.
God. Yeah, that is where he's fucking off to.
I'm gonna bless Crowley because I really love him in general, and I want to see what he's scheming and what he's up to. And I really love whenever Dean said, "How long have you had these people here?" or something like that. Like, you've had people in the camp, and he's like, "Oh yeah, today's Friday since." Mind your own business. That was good. I love Crowley, so blessings to Crowley.
Real.
And just like that, we've made it to the end of the episode. Thank you so much for coming on, Hana and Theo. It was an absolute blast, as always. Is there anything that you guys would like to plug? Anything coming up that a little hard to guess when, but...
No, nothing on my end.
Tax return.
My friends and I saw this sign for the Virginia lottery. It was like a neon sign, some gas station, and instead of like just going like this, like crossing your fingers, I had the thumb out.
Oh.
We're like, who the fuck is crossing their fingers like this? So now that's our like shorthand.
Fucked up little gun.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm shooting wishes, shooting hexes at all y'all motherfuckers.
This is my revolver.
Every time I shoot, it breaks a knuckle. Oh.
Well, thank you both for being here. This is always an episode every season where we bring the siblings on. Sam was not able to join us today,
Rip,
sadly.
Sam, we miss you. There would have been 3 Sams to talk about this episode.
Maybe next season we get more of the Brow siblings on.
I think we could get more of both sibling sets. We get see how many siblings we can collect. I think we could get. I think one of my other siblings I could probably convince to come on.
Hell yes.
So we'll see. Maybe next time we'll.
We've done an episode with 10 people on it before, so we can just push it. We can get as many as we want.
So, if we got all,
if we got everybody,
if we got all the siblings that we would be getting up there. We got some big families. all of
That'd be
us.
so good.
But for now, thanks for being here. And thank you to everyone who's listening. If you are listening and this is your first time listening, you can subscribe to this show, Saving People, Queering Things, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Also out now, Queering People, Saving Throws. Our main crew, along with KJ of Supernatural Opinions, taking a dive into a queer D&D adventure, releasing every other Friday, right here on our feed.
And if you liked what you heard, maybe share it with a friend. You can also join our free Discord server, find links to our social media, and catch up on all of the latest season mixtapes. And all of that is at our website, queeringthingspodcast.com.
Be sure to ride along with us next week as we explore Season 6, Episode 8, All Dogs Go to Heaven, through the theme of human nature. Just a little note, my little prediction is that it's going to be something about the purgatory lore that we discovered, because, I mean, monsters dying, and where do they go? All dogs go to heaven. It's gotta be. And if it's not, I'm going to be disappointed.
Okay.
Hell yeah. Thank you all for coming along for the ride.
We wish you a peaceful road until we meet again.
There it is. Big Dick Jerry just dropped.
Big Dick Jerry.
And that's where I'm going to stop the recording.